Top stories and breaking views this morning. BP's Macondo settlement is mostly good, says Breakingviews, and reform is no sure bet as Putin wins the presidential elections. With me to discuss these stories is Breakingviews assistant editor Robert Cole.
Morning, Axel.
Morning
nice to see you looking so cheerful.
It's Monday morning. All right, you like that. You're relatively comfortable with this BP deal, right?
You know, we've done quite a lot of very good work over a number of months on BP, and today's news, I think, we're happy with, and we quite like the look of it. I mean, there's a very, very long way to go, but I think that the market, unlike Breakingviews, has been pretty depressed on BP, and we kind of, I think, foreshadowed the fact that this deal might not be as bad as some expected, and it isn't as bad.
This is the higher end of the range they were supposed to be paying there, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I think that, well, yeah, okay. So, but the market was the market price. Yeah, you're right. The market price, though, seemed to be suggesting that it would be fines would be levied above market expectations.
Right.
That's the point that I think we made a week or two ago when we foreshadowed this deal. But so it is good news, and it is mostly good. It does set a precedent. You know, it does look like that. You know, that there will be a deal, and that looks good for other cases coming down the highway. So, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not a done deal. This is no time to sort of sleep easy. There are still surprises that could be in store. The bill could still keep up, and I think that also, you know, investors ought to thank Mother Nature as much as anything else. You know, because the way that this oil seems to have been sort of resubsumed into the ocean without the fantastically cataclysmic sort of thoughts that it looked like it might do when it first broke is doing BP no end of favours as well. But I guess a lot of it also depends on whether it grows into an election issue as well. You know?
And yeah, all right. Well, we'll keep an eye on the share price as well, BP. But all right, let's talk about Russia. And you and I have had this conversation before. I've had this conversation with most of the columnists of Breakingviews here in Europe. You've always been pretty down on Russia at Breakingviews.
You say that.
You've always been pretty down on Putin and Medvedev and what that means, the lack of rule of law for business.
I think what you're trying to say, Axel, right? Is that we have pointed out on a number of occasions the height of and depth of the challenges which are facing Russia, and the need for concerted efforts, and the fact that reform, if it's taking place at all, is taking place at a very, very slow rate. And there are great hopes. Well, there was a chance ahead of the election that, you know, Putin might sort of change his spots, might become a reformer. Now, that's still possible. You know, the bloke's only been re-elected a matter of hours.
But you don't believe it.
Let's really hope that, you know, he grabs hold of a reform agenda and does something about it.
He wept at his acceptance speech.
It was the wind.
He
told us it was the wind. If he actually had wept and done it before the election, probably wiped 15% off his poll ratings. But no, I think, you know, let's hope that there is something to do. But, you know, the vested interest in Russia is such that, you know, one has to be very cautious before becoming too expectant about reform in Russia, and that's a shame.
Okay, Robert, many thanks for that. Robert Cole. If you want to watch the US Breakingviews show, that comes on every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 GMT. You can find that on the Breakingviews site. You can find that on Reuters.com and on Insider. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.